Okay, figure I'm going to go ahead and do another voiceover. So this is my first back and chest workout of the week. This is Monday of week 11 of my training. So I like to start off with bent over barbell rows with a wide grip. I do 4 sets of 8 to 12 and I pyramid up as I go. Right here, I'm doing 225 for my top set. On this video, I record my first set and my last set. So the first clip you'll see of each exercise is the first set, and then the last one, the second one you'll see would be the last. I try to squeeze these at the top and hold for a slight second, but as the weight gets heavier, obviously you can't. Big difference from not supersetting versus from doing supersets. Allows me to focus more on the hard contraction. So after barbell rows, I switch to T-bar rows. On these, I really like these because I feel these in the middle of my back. I try to target like the bottom of the traps on this to try to build up that middle back thickness. I'm lagging that a lot. That's an area of me that's always been weak and I need to really improve on. So this is my top set right here. I did it for a total of 10 reps. I went as hard as I could. Feeling a little exhausted. I got some rest on Sunday, so I feel pretty good. Having a week from not being sick and getting some rest really makes a big difference in the gym training. After that movement, right here we have reverse grip bent over barbell rows with a close grip about shoulder width. This, again, I feel this in like the middle of the back, like the lower trap area, which again is an area that I really need to emphasize on to build up thickness in. 4 sets of 8 to 12. I pyramid up each set, and then as I get closer to my top set, I try to fail before 12 reps. Between 8 to 12 is the goal. If I can do more, I do more. This is my third exercise, so I'm feeling pretty gassed right here as it is, so I push as hard as I can. Another thing also too, tonight I changed up my post-workout meal. I normally do a whole bunch of fruit with 2 things of yogurt, but I went ahead and decided to do 15 ounces of Greek yogurt, fat-free, with 2 scoops of whey protein and some blueberries. All the other fruit really acidic. It started bothering me in my stomach, so I went ahead and dropped all the other fruit that I was doing with it. So this right here is an ISO low rower. It doesn't have a chest pad to brace against, but what I like about this one is if you pull your elbow down and in, it feels exactly like a dumbbell row. I like doing dumbbell rows, but I have a long torso, so it just feels a lot of fatigue in my back, my low back when I do them in my abs. It feels like I'm straining more in my abs and my lower back. So this right here allows me to get the exact same range of motion, the exact same plane of movement as a dumbbell row, just being able to isolate the lat 100% and squeeze and pull in. So this, I feel in my lower lat really aggressively. I really like this machine right here because I can target really hard. And once I start to lean out and lose all that delicious body fat that I have, you'll really be able to see the muscle contracting on there. So that was it for my back. We move to my chest now. I do dumbbell press. Now remember, this side of my chest, the right side, it was torn. I had to have surgery to reconnect it, so you can see right around the armpit, the skin stretching and the scar tissue kind of looks really weird, but that's the actual tendon right there you can see. And when I do these, I like to go nice and slow, and I like to hold a long contraction at the bottom before I press back up. I moved up to the 55s tonight, and I could feel this in that tendon. I could also feel it in the bicep where the tendon connects to the arm, which is very unsettling if you've never had surgery before or something feels injured or hurt or different. Even 2 years from having surgery, it still feels really odd. And you can see that big dip in the pectoral right there and how disformed it is. But I'm making the most of what I have available from years of training and beating my body up and damaging it. So my form isn't perfect on my chest movements because, well, I don't have a perfect chest. As I lean out, we'll be able to really actually see what my chest truly looks like, because honestly, since I've hurt myself, I've never actually been lean enough to actually see the shape of the pec since I had surgery, and I'm quite excited to see how gross and disgusting this thing looks after I get lean enough to see it. So after I do the dumbbell press, I move to incline dumbbell press again, keeping these light. Just that pec and that tendon, man, it's a whole nother ball game. So you can actually see it right there again. I got a nice good stretch at the bottom with a nice pause, but you can see the tendon moving along the pec right there. And I can feel that on every single rep. And then where that dip is above my nipple, below my, well, on the side of my armpit, above my nipple, that's where the muscle retracted. And I feel it in there. That's where I feel the majority of the contraction. And the way that this feels when I'm working out, it's not like a muscle burn and then a muscle fatigue and then a muscle strain, then failure. It's I feel nothing, I feel nothing, I feel nothing, I feel nothing. Then all of a sudden I get overwhelming tightness in there, like overwhelming sensation of tightness and almost like a muscle cramp, like the verge of a muscle cramp. So it's taken me 2 years to get to the point to learn the difference of, is it tearing? Is it cramping? Is it ripping apart? Or is that just the way it feels now? And that's the way that my chest feels when I train. So I'm moving to dumbbell flies. I started off with a very small range of motion on the first couple reps, and then I greatly increase the range of motion in the stretch as I get further into the set, because even starting off with 12-pound dumbbells, it still feels really awful in that pull and that stretch. So I really like to take it nice and slow and slowly work on opening up the chest with every rep. I go a little deeper and I hold a little bit longer, go a little bit deeper, hold a little bit longer. I don't rush into the full range of motion on these because the strain on that pec is weird, and the pec will actually engage and disengage while I'm actually training. I gotta feel it relax and then tighten, then relax, then tighten, especially when it gets fatigued. Like I said, it doesn't do like a normal pec where it's like, okay, strain, okay, I'm starting to feel the burn, I'm feeling the contraction, I'm feeling the pump. It's just, I feel movement, and then bam, it hits really hard out of nowhere. And then whenever it does that, it causes the muscle to spasm sometimes, releasing and contracting on its own. And then it shifts all the tension on, see, it did it right there if you actually noticed, and it shifts all the tension off of the pectoral muscle onto the tendon, and it feels very sketchy and scary. So I do what I can with what I got, as we all do, correct? So this is actually a really good night. You can see my belly is still fat, my legs are still fat, and I'm still fat and gross, but I'm not nearly as fat and gross as I was. My body weight has come down 30 pounds since I started this, and this is week 11, like I said earlier. And I'm trying to incorporate some ab movement more frequently into my training. I have a very long torso, so my stomach, when I bend down or I sit or I crunch over, it really emphasizes the thickness of my midsection because how tall I am, and my torso, and it just makes my midsection look super thick. So whenever I stand up and I elongate, my midsection doesn't look so thick and bulky, but anytime I sit down or crunch, it looks absolutely awful. So the trick for me to giving that V taper is getting my stomach as skinny as possible. But, you know, I'll take what I can get, because anything that I get now from what I had is a huge improvement. So those decline crunches are crazy hard. I used to do those last, and then I would do my lower abs first, like right here, these reverse crunches. I would do these first, then I do the decline crunches. But I found out when I do the decline crunches first, I actually feel that more in my hip adductors and lower abs. And then when I do the reverse crunches, I feel it harder in my upper abdominal. And I do the decline crunches for my upper and then the reverse crunches for my lower, but turns out it works the opposite. At least that's the way it feels when I do them. So that's the order that I do them in, because I get a better, more controlled contraction. Then, of course, as y'all saw there, I do those little lumberjack, side twist, cable, whatever you want to call them. And then that's it for the ab training after my chest and back. Now, I work my back and chest out twice a week, so my next chest and back workout will be on Thursday. And then I finish up a cardio. And what I do on the cardio here is I was doing 20 minutes at level 3, but I decided I didn't want to spend 20 minutes on the Stairmaster, so now I'm doing intervals. So I do a minute on level 3, and then I do a minute on level 7, and then a minute on level 3, and then a minute on level 7, all the way up to 12 minutes. Which gives my heart up, breathing extremely heavy on the low speeds, and then I recover, and then of course I get my heart rate back up. I feel like this is incredibly it's just good for weight loss, getting your heart rate up. So I do it like I'm doing my workouts, right? You hit a set, then you rest. Then you hit a set, then you rest. Then you hit a set, then you rest. Get your heart rate up, let it come down. Get your heart rate up, and it just feels better. It makes cardio more interesting, and it doesn't make you focus on the total time. It makes you focus on the second, because you're just begging for that speed to come down, and when it does, it goes quick because you don't want it to speed back up. But anyway, guys, that's it for the video. Thanks for watching, and until next time.